Welcome back, viewers and subscribers. It's your girl Star Flames, and we're back with another video. In this video, we're going to talk about the viral discussion of Terrence Howard, revealing that Sean Diddy Combs basically tried to groom him, Terrence Howard, into having sex with him, Diddy. Now, these are not his exact words verbatim. I'm just paraphrasing what he had shared. So basically, Terrence Howard, he was on the Patrick Bet David's podcast, and he claimed that he was targeted by Sean Diddy Combs under the guise of coaching, So when Diddy wants to capture the younger artists, he basically uses the word mentorship. He's the one that's doing the mentorship. No, because Terrence Howard is not someone that Diddy can trick into, okay, Terrence, I'm gonna mentor you and get you to that point where you need to be. He basically flipped the script on Terrence Howard, or rather tried to flip the script. So basically what Terrence Howard shared is that Sean Diddy Combs, basically said, you know what, I would like to get some, coaching lessons from you, some acting lessons. And he basically claimed that while he was there, Sean Diddy Combs basically didn't have anything working on, no project, no material. But how Diddy made his advances? It wasn't direct, but he could tell that it was slowly coming. And then when Diddy was like, okay, we're gonna meet again, that even confirmed it more for him. Now, there's a little clip of such podcast interview. I'm going to share this clip with you guys. So let's take a look at the clip together, shall we? And then I'll get back with the rest of my commentary.
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, he wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you know to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in and make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction back.
Now, watching this clip, I'm just wondering, how did Jay-Z stand Diddy, being his friend for so many years, even though he said that Diddy is not his friend? They're just basically associates, basically networking. But at the same time, it is so questionable even now more than ever, because this story that Terrence Howard is sharing, I believe this is how Diddy has been grooming the men. He sees a pretty boy, and I don't believe that Diddy was trying to pick up any scallywags or anything like that, as many of these people are putting in the lawsuits. I believe that Diddy loves a pretty sexy boy because of he has that strong personality, even though gay, allegedly, or in this case, bisexual rather, he has a strong personality. So I can see him liking a softer, kind of pretty boy kind of thing. And as such, it is so questionable, and it actually kind of gives you a better insight as to how we basically pick up these men. May have a one night stand here and there with them, because many of them who are coming out to sue Diddy, it's not as though they didn't have sexy time with him, but I do believe that for the most part, a lot of it was consensual. And for some part, we can literally see and tell that those lawsuits are lying. So I believe that Diddy was definitely out here dipping and doing exactly as Terrence Howard has described. And I believe that majority of his methods were like that. I also believe that there were substance put in these um, beverages, like he invites you over, give you something to drink, lace it a little bit. I don't think it was laced to the extent that people described it. I think it was something more as to get you relaxed. And oftentimes, do you know how everyone's body reacts differently? I do believe that there were times when people were in a state of complete unconsciousness, and then semi-unconsciousness, I should say, sorry, but not unconscious. And then that's when he goes about having his way with them, and then getting a doctor, in the morning to ensure that everyone gets their IV, and basically trick them into, oh yeah, we had a good time. Yeah, you were okay with it. And, so I do believe that most of Diddy's victims are silent out of shame. And I believe that as time passes, we're not even going to hear from many of these actual real victims because of the shame and the embarrassment of how he was able to successfully reel these people in and trick them under the guise of, let's talk about this, or I need your help with that, or I can help you with this, and how he was able to basically get those people to sleep with him. And many of those men could have seen themselves as being such a straight, hunk of a guy, and just being so humiliated by the fact that they went around Diddy, they looked at his castle, the glitz, the glamour, and it took just one moment for him to really get them like that. So based on this, and I like 110% believe Terrence Howard, and based on this is how you know that we're never going to hear from half of his true victims, not accusers, victims, actual people who have experienced these things. I'm wondering if there's a time when he like made an advance to a guy and that guy had to knock him the F out, because there has to be at least, that one, because no matter how much of a predator you are, no matter how big, bad, and mighty, and you think that you have power over everyone, I know there has to be at least one of those encounters when someone had to knock him the F out and make good their escape. I would want to hear that story from a guy really coming forward and coming with some receipts, not a made up story wanting to tell lies just to get money, like something factual. Because what Terrence Howard is sharing is so on point, and because Terrence Howard is this kind of individual that is so kind, highly intellectual, he will sense that something is wrong, and so he said it to his assistant, and his assistant was like, no, that man wants to F you. That's what he's up to. So kudos to his assistant for not being because some assistants are really horrible, They want to get back at their bosses so badly that they would not even give their input in this case. So shout out to that assistant for coming through and keeping it real. But that's all I have to share in this video with you guys. Very interesting. I love these stories. I do hope that we get to hear a lot more of them, because when they come out like this, you can definitely tell the authenticity of the individual and know that this person has no reason to lie, because they're just telling it from a true place with no ulterior motives behind it. So kudos to you, Terrence. But it's your time to chime in, guys. What's your take? While you're at it, thumbs up this video, of course. Share, stay safe, and we're gonna talk some more in the comment section. Peace.